Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit, and in the green, welcome back to Bomberman 64. We have cleared the 4 worlds that blocked entry to Altair's headquarters, and we are now ready to infiltrate via the main highway. I'm not exactly sure why his headquarters has a main highway anyway, but whatever, let's roll with it. Navigate these skyways in order to proceed. We can drop down here and go over here. You will definitely want to watch where you're going. Avoid those laser turrets, or machine gun turrets more accurately, and sneak through there. Sometimes when you're transitioning into a different area, Bomberman won't be damaged, but a car will be coming along anyway, and it looks kind of funny. So there's our gold card. The first anyway. Quickly maneuver over here. We'll want to head forward, drop down here, and get ready to cross over to this side. It's basically a bit of a sprint, this level. You might need remote bombs to deal with some of the enemies in this area, if you're going for the enemy killing gold card. And just like before, gold card in there. On the other side, pretty much same position, is the third one, so we can pretty easily complete this level. Sneak out here, and we can head up to this area. Just go straight, and watching out for cars, cross the highway. Might be a little bit behind on time, I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get motoring. We're not too far from the end, but we do actually have a mini-boss fight to go. Rush through here. What we want to do is grab the power and remote bombs, which are up here. That didn't go well at all. Just got caught in the explosion. You'd think I'd know a bit better by now. Anyway, rotate the camera so it's behind us. It's always a problem. And Sirius will come to talk to us. From now on, Altair's troopers will try even harder to defeat you. You will encounter enemies with projectile weapons, so be sure to use the bomb kick to defeat them from a distance. Run on forward. The platform will lower and we'll be ready to fight a mini-boss. If you have the power bombs, and you have plenty of fire, the explosion ranges you have will be greater, and you can hit this enemy from a distance. Watch out for those attacks, watch out for this guy trying to mince me. And there we go, see, that's made short work of it. Now this probably is going to be a fairly short episode, if I just do things normally, because I've grabbed all the gold cards. So I'll probably add the rest of Black Fortress in, but I'm going to have to set things up so I don't keep going through this particular level over again. The boss is kind of difficult. Let's get rolling on stage 2. So, I've been saying this a lot because I've had to do this over and over and over again. This adversary is Cerberus. Very difficult to get all the gold cards because the time restriction is hideously short, and on top of that, it's very difficult to hit Cerberus. Wait, did he just damage himself? Cerberus seems to have prescience as far as I'm concerned and will predict where you're going to move. Also, that homing missile attack sucks because they actually get faster. Nice bit of mercy invincibility there. Okay, so I damaged one of the cannons. That's good. The easiest one? Destroying that energy field that shuts down your movement. Keep moving to avoid the machine guns. Okay, one of the cannons is down. One of the finicky elements is that sometimes Cerberus will register hits on his body, but not on that vital nose cone you have to destroy. Which is a little bit unfair. Wait, did I? Yes! Don't die, Bomberman! And I lost my heart. Finally! Finally! I don't know how, but all the pieces fell into place because, God, that is an annoying level. That said, we're tracking pretty well on time. I'll quickly go back and grab a heart, and then I will see you at the start of the next level. Welcome to the final stage of the game, Trap Tower. A potentially frustrating level, but you can find some good shortcuts in here. We'll need to move through and hit this switch. Watch out for the lasers that pop up. You'll also hear that security system over here has been activated. Only stand on those green ones, or ones that are changing to green. Otherwise, you'll lock yourself in and you'll basically have cost yourself a life. You have to blow yourself up. Through this area, if you want to grab one of the gold cards early, it's right here. Now, I confess that it took me a long time to work out where I was going, because I managed to read into some of the guides wrong when doing my practice runs, and was extremely stuck because I'm like, well, it says to go this way, and then I worked out that, wait, no, it doesn't. I'd misinterpreted something, and I paid for it. Screw the heart. I'm not going to need that. We want to go up here, destroy that block there, and then move to the longest part of this trident. Don't go off to the far fork like I did. Because you can start bomb jumping from there to get to another lift, and all sorts of problems will ensue. Do we have anything nice in these? Just regular pickups. So quickly dash ahead. If you have the remote bombs, you might be able to circumvent that security system over there. We'll see what happens. Now, of course, dodge the lasers. Cannon mechs, those enemies there cannot be paralyzed. And we'll throw that guy to his demise. And activate the next switch we need to go on to the next area. You do have to be very careful because it's all narrow path platforming. The Nintendo 64 controller might benefit you. Because unfortunately, I fell to my demise doing this segment and was right over a cliff when I was doing so. So make your way around here and go up. Prepare a pumped bomb, and I really wish Bomberman wouldn't move to the side like that. It makes me think he's going to wind up running off the edge. Did I get it? No, that's cheap. We get a cutscene full of cheesy explosions. And the way to the final battle is open. But I'm going to wrap up this episode basically just by showing off where you get everything in here, and there's a lot to do. Run all the way along here, down here, and up here. So, because I got all the gold cards in stage 1, I'll just show you the gold cards for this. Then, we'll be good to go for the final battle and a few extra cleanups. I'll see you back in Trap Tower. A slightly shorter section today because we only have 2 gold cards and a custom part near one of them to grab. But I do have a fairly decent death montage because this is of course fairly tricky. Final level and all that. Anyway, carrying on from the atmosphere setting discussion on boss fights, I'm going to talk about just video game music in general for a little bit, because I've adored this and how much it's developed over the years. I suppose as far as great music goes, I've been spoiled because I grew up in Rare's heyday, that golden era where they had all those fantastic games. I can only speak for a lot of Nintendo games and then the ones I've played at that, but there are some seriously magnificent soundtracks perfect for setting the mood. And as a good example of mood setting, take the soundtracks of Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. Most of Banjo-Kazooie's music is actually set in a major key. It's very upbeat, it's cheerful, it's a bit goofy and whimsical, and it's a lot of fun. The darker tone of Banjo-Tooie is reflected in the fact that most of its pieces are set in a minor key. Little touches like that really help out. And it can also be a lot of fun when you have that music that doesn't quite seem to fit when you look at it the first time, but every other time you listen to it, it just works really well. The Wooded Kingdoms theme in Super Mario Odyssey is a perfect example, because you have this heavily industrialized area, full of robots, it's got sort of big metal structures and things like that, and you're wondering, what on earth is with this music? Because it's surf rock basically, it makes you pay attention to it. And that's when you realise, our second gold card is here by the way, makes you realise that it's actually a shout out to the flower garden element and basically flower power. Admittedly quite clever, and it's even mixed in a retro style, in the style of 1960s surf rock, just to add that extra layer of authenticity. Shows how far they went with things. Of course, music in video games has been developing since right from the start. They gradually developed what you could do with 8-bit games, and they've taken it even further with the Super Nintendo through the Nintendo 64, which admittedly had the problem that a lot of the music had to be compressed to fit on the cartridge. A bit unfortunate, but as we went on we got glorious orchestrated soundtracks. Though an interesting technique, variable mix, was used in the heyday of Rare. Major series like The Legend of Zelda, as far as I know, only picked this up around the time of Skyward Sword, with the slight variations based on whether or not a time shift stone was active in Lanaro Desert. But you go through Banjo-Kazooie, even in Mumbo's Mountain, you've got the main theme. Our third gold card is in the box on the right, by the way, and there's a custom part we can grab nearby. So basically you had the standard theme, as I was saying. You had the variation at the Termite Mount, at Conga's Orange Patch, and in Mumbo's Little Village, and of course the underwater variations. So I kind of flubbed trying to bounce up there, but we got the custom part anyway. Somehow that actually hit it. Ah, where's it gone? This little section is only in the montage because I got to make a bad pun and I'm not sorry about it. The traffic is literally murder. And for those of you who thought I should be punished for it, don't worry, it's coming up. That didn't go well. That's almost the understatement of the century. But there are lots of things I could say about all the awesome video game music I've experienced over time. But honestly, the best thing I can say is get out there and experience it yourself. Listen to the music, listen to the techniques used. Learn all those things that made all the great video games and their soundtracks what they are. That's my advice to you. Also, some advice: a shortcut is the longest distance between 2 points. Also, always make sure you look where you're going. And quickly dash along here. I believe we have to take this fork. Then it was round... Ah! Not a bad imitation of a man falling to his death, in all fairness. And then we got run over, so... Now, one of the nastiest things about these turrets is that even when they kill you, they'll just keep shooting you. Insult to injury. But that wraps things up, so honestly, do check out as much video game music as you can, learn about all those wonderful techniques used to create it, and how they fit in with the games, how they make you feel, all those wonderful little things that really make them stand out. It's well worth your while. Anyway, we are ready to take on the final boss in the next episode. Until next time, this is Red 2 returning to base.